What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to Strangers Minds. I'm Fernando, and today we're going to do something a little bit different. You know, I'm known to react to paranormal call on tape because I'm a paranormal investigator, and on my off time when I'm not out there on the field, I enjoy watching all of these paranormal call on tape videos, and then I give my 2 cents. But today we are going to read off Reddit real paranormal stories from real people across the states. And I actually came across a series of articles that is kind of interesting. I haven't read them, so we're both going to be amazed to what we're going to find out with these stories. So today, we're going to start off with Classic McGroobs 23. Hope I pronounced it right. Wife's voice when she isn't there. Interesting, because I have experienced something similar, except she was there. I will share that story once I'm done. Background: my wife and I are in our 30s and live alone. She's in corrections, and I'm a military veteran and an electrician, so we aren't easily shaken. So there's a powerhouse of a couple, you guys. At the time of these two happenings, I was not tired, medicated, or overly anxious. All right, let's see. The first experience happened when my wife came home from Costco and pulled into the garage and closed the automatic garage door. I came upstairs from the basement and passed by her as she walked in the groceries. I slipped my shoes on and headed out to the garage to grab the rest of the bags as she headed to use the restroom upstairs quick. I was leaning into the back seat when I heard the door open and hear her say, "Oh, you didn't have to do that." I popped my head out of the car to respond, and she wasn't there. I thought it odd how fast she went back inside without waiting for my response. I headed inside to respond to her, but she was still in the bathroom upstairs. I asked her about it, and she said that she did not come out to the garage nor say anything of that nature. We both kind of got a little weirded out, but eventually shook it off and forgot about it until last night. Okay, this is sounding very similar to my experience, but let's continue. Last night, she and I chopped up carrots and potatoes for dinner. Knowing it would take a bit for the carrots and potatoes to cook through, yes, I decided to head downstairs to our home gym to install a new ceiling light fan. I'm almost I'm most of the way through installing it and hear her shout down my name down the stairs twice. I figured dinner was ready, so I took a few more minutes to finish up and grab my trash and head upstairs. I see her sitting on the couch, playing on her phone with a cat in her lap. I asked if dinner was done, and she said no. I asked her why she called my name then, and she said she didn't. Again, I'm thinking, what the hell? For sure, because it's a little bit different when you hear somebody's voice, like saying something to you. But it's a different feel when somebody's yelling your name out, because that's like for you to grab their attention, like rough, like, right? I go through it in my head wondering if I imagined it. I decided I definitely did not. It was once again her voice, and once again it's something she would have said in the situation had it been her saying them. The message weren't malevolent. They were normal responses she would normally have. My best guess is that maybe parallel reality bumped into ours for a second. Or I hope this isn't the case. Something is imitating my wife to me. Maybe I'm just hallucinating, but there's not currently a clear reason why I would be. Has anyone else had this happen multiple times to the point you are sure that it wasn't a fluke? Any similar experiences or advice would help immensely. All right. So he heard the door open and my wife's voice say a complete sentence to me, only for me to look over and her not be there. And then a few weeks later, have her shout my name twice, only for her to deny that she ever did. So one of two things happened. Either she's messing with him, or or there might be a paranormal entity that mimics one called a doppelganger. So, doppelgangers aren't really the nicest in nature because what they try to do is they try to get your guard down by imitating somebody that you already are comfortable with. And there's an old saying that says if you come across your old doppelganger, your own doppelganger, it's like a sign of like death, right? Like, either you're gonna be unalived or something bad is going to happen or something along this instance. So one of those two things is going on. That is just assuming that we're just going to go with what we heard. He wasn't medicated, he wasn't, overly tired or, like he this happened, you guys. So my experience with this was that we were me and my wife and I we were both in bed, and it was cold. um so we turned off the AC to the house, and in the middle of the night, sh- I heard her say, "It's getting cold, can you turn on the AC?" But I noticed that she had, her blanket on, like she was fully covered. So I was like, "Are you sure?" Then, that's when I guess I woke her up, and she was like, "What? Like, what are you talking about?" I was like, "Are you sure you want me to turn on the AC?" And she was like, "No, why?" And I was like, "Well, because you asked me to." And she was like, "No, she didn't." And, I stayed a little, like I paused for a moment and I stayed. I wasn't asleep. I wasn't like dead asleep, but I was questioning whether or not I heard it. So there was another instance when I was in the bathroom, and I heard my wife say, "Fernando, can you come and help?" Or something very similar along that lines. And I responded, "I'm in the bathroom. I'll be right there." So when I got there, I was like, "What's up?" And she was like, "Well, what happened?" I was like, "You called me for help. Like, what was it?" And she was like, "No, no, I didn't." And I was like, "Huh." So, you know, I could definitely understand where this guy's coming from because, but the difference is our backgrounds, right? I am a paranormal investigator, so I could easily see myself having some sort of paranormal activity. You know, I really don't like the idea that I would be a cause of some sort of distress to my family. But I do protect myself because the best thing to do to have when you are out in the field and protect yourself is your faith. So, and also, since I relocated to Florida about 7 months ago, I haven't really done any um, field work. I haven't been out there yet. To get it's taking quite a while to get myself out there just because I need to trust somebody because I never go to a place by myself. There's just a lot of safety purposes, but I need to trust a person to be able to go and do what I do because technically speaking, our lives would be in each other's hands. You have to trust the person that you're gonna go to a paranormal active location. So once I get that, I'll be right out there. But for this story, it does seem like he is dealing with some sort of doppelganger, and As of right now, nothing bad has happened. But what I do recommend is, since the first instance started in the garage, for some reason I just heard something. I live in a house, you guys. So I right now in Florida, I live in a house. The only thing above me is the attic. Dirt is under me because we don't even have a basement. So anyway, I'm gonna have to do a paranormal investigation in my own house. But um, but yeah, where was I? That kind of threw me off. Uh, but yeah, I would recommend that put a camera in your garage, angled in a way where you could see through the door where you say that open and your wife said you don't have to do that. So, angle it in a way where you could actually see inside that room. My garage is right next to the kitchen. So in the kitchen, there's a door where you could just walk into the garage. So I will angle it where I could see my kitchen. That way, you got a good angle of everything there. And also, I recommend getting some voice recorders because as of right now, you've been hearing audio. So you never know, you might capture something, and that piece of evidence could help you just in case if things get worse, could help you find help, whether it's finding a paranormal group that would come in, investigate your house, and then you have more, um, you know, uh, better proof to which you have choices now that you could look for, help with either, the church or whatever the case may be. So that would be my recommendation for you, sir. So with that being said, let's move on to another story because this one kind of popped out and it's a video. Let's see what this is about. Do we have audio? No audio. So I am wondering because that's a different language. It's like is buffering or something. So my thing is, right, let's pause it right here. We see, is he talking about this over here or the shiny, something shiny going on there? Because I could tell you right now, the shining could actually be cobwebs. Could actually be cobwebs. The reflection of the night vision and the cobwebs being close to the lens could show some sort of like shiny stuff. I've seen it all the time, and even with seeing paranormal call on tape videos, you see it all the time. That's cobwebs or something close to the lens. Could be even hair. So that right there is that. But it looks like there's somebody sitting. Looks like there's somebody sitting. Is that what you're talking about? Because I would love to get some more a background of a story. Because right now, what is that sitting on my swing at 3 a.m.? I saw this on my blink camera and compared it with other situations when the swing was filmed. Nothing. Can you explain this? Can we see the how it looks when there's nothing there? I would have loved to see what was there. That is true. I think I would be moving the camera for a better view. Yep. Looks like a cat. Not so sure about that. First thing that came to mind, you can kind of make out his ears. It's Yoda. It's Yoda. But seriously, it could be a cat. Uh, Whatever's on the swing, it could possibly be an animal. Yeah. So I guess until we see a better angle, we're gonna have to go that that's some sort of animal, and the shininess is um something close to the lens. Okay, so I have a severe attachment. Huh. Let's see what this is about. This is from FTWR Kira. I have a severe attachment. Quick summarization. Summer of 2023, I went to two severely haunted places. Oh, my kind of story. Now that I live with my best friend who was there with me throughout it all, and with my boyfriend, it's gotten worse. I have not very strong protection over my mind, and whatever is attached to me knows that. Okay, so first things first. I was in a situation where I had a very close friend. Once he found out that I was going out to the field, paranormal investigating and stuff like this, he's always wanted to do something, like go to a location out in Jersey, and he wanted it to investigate some areas. But during that time, we've spoken, and he's been going through a lot of personal issues, personal troubles, and that to me is a red flag, because for you to go out to, let's say a paranormal active location, no matter what it is, no matter how high or how low the activity is, you are leaving yourself vulnerable. It is actually dangerous, because if you aren't mentally strong, you shouldn't put yourself in a position where you're not able to fully grasp and rationalize what is going on. I mean, I've gone to investigation with people that anything is pretty much everything. like we need, like, before you go to these places, we need to basically focus. We need to have the ability to be positive. We cannot just go into a place and just think, let's have some fun, because sometimes when you go to these places, it could get really dark really fast, especially if you are not mentally fit. It's made me severely sick. I have heart problems now. My best friend and I see it lingering around me all the time. It started moving stuff in our house, mimicking our voices, another mimic, and even voices of family members. There's no way it could know. Actually, there is a theory that ghosts are almost, well, not all spirits, but they are almost psychic, because depending on what type of entity you are dealing with, it already knows you. So it knows your thoughts, it knows your life, it knows you. So it's going to try and break you down by using things that you know. Now, this is only a bad entity. I hate using the other words, that people use to describe any paranormal situation. So I'm not going to go there, because is, I don't want to add wood to the fire, just in case if you see this video. Our voices, even that I could have known. Okay. It's even started hurting my two cats, which are my most important things of my life. Like I said, it is going to break you down even more. And this is, if this is real, you guys, then this is a serious situation. Anybody that knows anything, please give me advice or feel free to ask anything. There's so much more details that I can explain, but at this moment I can barely type because it's bothering me so bad. I hope a post like this is allowed. Thank you. So, my recommendation if you come across my video is that even though even though you are experiencing paranormal activity, I would recommend that you help yourself mentally. If you need to go and speak to somebody, a therapist or something like this, not calling you crazy, because I am a paranormal investigator and I believe in the paranormal. All of this, to me, until I see otherwise, is real stories. So I would recommend that you get yourself mentally strong and in a positive life where you could, rationalize a little better everything going on. And that might even trigger the entity to do worse stuff, which is something that you're going to have to swallow that bitter pill, because the only way to fight back is by making yourself strong. But sometimes if you make yourself strong, the entity will know it and the entity will leave. Now, if it doesn't and things gets worse, that's where I was going with. That is when you need to try and get some sort of evidence so you could get the help that you need within the paranormal field. I've said this in many of the videos. I do not know a state, city, obviously neighborhoods, but a state, cities that does not have a paranormal group nearby. But depending on who they are, they might not even, take your case as a consideration without some sort of something for them to, go by. The same thing with church. The church needs some real paranormal evidence for them to get involved. So either, first steps, get yourself mentally strong. If you have faith, if you are, whatever religion you're in, um, fall into that. You need your faith strong. Get help, talk to somebody so you could get yourself in a better place, and be prepared because sometimes it might get worse. But this is the first steps to fight it off. So, you guys, I hope this is helpful to you guys who have been sharing your stories. Thank you for opening yourselves and letting us know the situations. But yeah, I hope you guys take my advice. And, I am in all social media platforms. You guys could also reach out. I am here. DM me. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I have videos. X, Lemon 8. All of that. All I am easily accessible to anybody that wants to talk. So, if for everybody else, if you're enjoying this kind of content, please do what you're doing in like a channel. Hit that like, share, subscribe, follow, all that good stuff, and I'll catch you guys on the next. Peace.